No, you should the entire time. You should do it the entire time.
What's going on,
I
everyone?
just want to say it's season 3, episode 1.
What's going on, everyone? It is Will West with Trekker's Delight, and I'm here with Marie, Jermaine, Keith, and him. So, yo, Star Trek Picard, season 3, episode 1, The Next Generation. We're about to do an in-depth review, and I gotta say, I'm proud of us today because we went from gamma shift to alpha shift, just like we took a profit wormhole and just got here, y'all. And I'm happy. I'm so
I love
happy.
you, but I think you may be overstating a case. I mean, I'm solidly running gamma shift, people.
I mean, let's talk about the fact that Marie went through literally 4 quadrants of computers just to get here. Like,
it's bananas. There's this fella I've been talking to, and I'm like really texting him. I am
quick.
I am strong.
Or was it? Or was it?
I have some glasses of wine in it.
Was this
All right, how about rolling that beautiful bean footage? Then we'll get
Keith just judged us. Go.
It never gets old because I'm sitting here going over like da 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 da. Okay. I just want a simple yes or no for us to kick this off. Everyone just individually answer the question. Do we feel, yes or no? Do we feel that we are off to a good start so far with season 3?
Yes.
It's kind of just kind of open. It's kind of like they just said, "Here's the box," and then the first episode was like, "Open the box," but we haven't actually looked inside the box. That's how I feel. It's my metaphor. You like some metaphors, son? Some metaphors for you, son?
Yeah, it definitely goes beyond yes or no. It definitely goes beyond that. Like, pass me one, Jermaine. I'm gonna need it. But yeah, because y'all see my shit is empty. But it's okay. But yeah, I concur. I think that for the most part we're off to a good start. A lot of our theories were already proven and answered, and we're off to a great start. Marie,
But before we get too far into our discussions of theories, do we want to run the summary?
Absolutely. Who wants to? We got photos ready. Who wants to run through a summary? It's in detail too. Like they got a nice detailed story. So
they did actually, but it was kind of nicely paced.
That part. So who wants to take a jab at it, huh?
Keith? No, Jermaine.
Yeah, Jermaine.
I would do it, but
Jermaine, please. Come on.
I literally just saw it, waiting for you all. So that means it is fresh. It is.
I just got judged
fresh.
real hard.
No.
I can follow that sword if nobody wants to do.
Can we just all do it together?
I will. Yeah,
let's take it by chapter. How about that, Marie? You go first.
So, sometime in the far-flung future,
21st century.
Yes, and they even tell you that on the marquee.
That's why I said it's
right. Right. we actually start open with a shot of the very messy interior of what we come to find out is the Helios. And I gotta say, love the fact that apparently the Crushers are big fans of orchids. I can work with that. The interior of the Helios, we pan through, and then we get to a section where like the alarm goes off and we hear boarders are coming, and Beverly Crusher pops up and is like, they're here, and then she runs to the bridge, finds out that we're kind of struggling a little bit on the whole like warp readiness situation. We hear another guy off screen screaming in British, and she's like, no, I'm not having that. So she goes over and she punches the button and locks him into a separate compartment. She runs into a different compartment, instructs the computer to get them the hell out of there, and then she proceeds to fuck some alien shit up with her BFG. She's wounded in the process. She stumbles back into the bridge. She sends a coded transmission via the Myriad codec to Admiral Jean-Luc Picard, at which point we flash to Chateau Picard, where Picard and Laris are kind of talking a little bit about doing some spring cleaning and how, he's going to send this giant painting to Geordi. And then she's like, no. And then they sit there and they talk about how she's got this mission that's on this random planet and he's going to go and he's supporting her because he's a good boyfriend.
Okay. Let's just pause. Okay. We moved from the first scene. We've already moved to the next scene. So first scene, I thought it was a little weird with Beverly being like a gun-ho holster, like a tough warrior type, I can beat these guys type of character when she's never actually been that. I mean, I understand that.
I'd argue that. I would, except for the fact that we find out later that she's been on the run for an indeterminate amount of time and we're given to understand that it's a pretty long length of time, actually.
Well, do we know she's on the run, or does she know that? Do we know?
Yes. Yes. Crusher Jr., not Wesley, is what I'm going to call him. Makes it very clear when we get to that point that it's been a long time.
It's been a long road.
Oh my God. I walked right into that, y'all. I walked right into it, man.
I don't want to get booted, so I'm gonna stop.
It's been a long time,
but my time is finally here, and I will see my dream come alive.
Oh, we gotta stop this shit.
Touch the sky, and I'm not gonna hold me down no more. No, they're not gonna change my mind, 'cause I got faith of the heart. I'm going where my heart will take me. I got faith.
How did we get here?
Wait.
I'm sorry. Was that my fault?
Is this copyright infringement?
I gotta tell you, nothing this bad could possibly be.
No. I'm pretty sure the algorithms will not pick this up as being music. It's mathematical, and the math will not match as being music at all.
Faith of the heart.
All right, so we are now going to lose literally like all of our followers for that. So that's Marco. That's Marco.
I could feel that's Marco. I could feel it all the way from here. I could
miss
feel
you.
it. Yes.
Anyway, so we go through this whole thing, and he's going to be Picard's going to be a good boyfriend. So good for him. He's going to be a good boyfriend and go along with his girlfriend while she like kicks ass and takes names, doing diplomatic security. And then later in the evening, he's apparently handwriting correspondence because that's a thing they do in the 25th century. And he starts hearing a very familiar chirping noise. It's a very familiar chirping noise. And he's like, where the hell is that? So he goes rumbling through his conveniently placed box of old uniforms.
And
because
think
I
that's the
know
first-
I have everything like right at hand, guys. I do.
Right.
So like,
And it's his badge. That's
and
not
it is.
it.
It's his privilege
That's
badge.
not it. But I just pulled.
I mean, I love the fact that you pulled that out. Well done.
Multi-pass.
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 It was his multi-pass.
This is multi-pass.
So anywho, he picks it up and he's like, "Computer, what is this?" And the computer's like, "This happens to be the comm badge belonging to Captain Jean-Luc Picard."
Yes, I know.
And he's like, "No shit, I know that." And then it's like, "Oh, there's a message on there encoded with the myriad codec." And he's
So
like,
how did he know there was a myriad?
"Well, so that's where we get Riker later." So he's got no idea what's going on. He eventually figures out how to crack it. Sort of. It's not very complicated. He plays it. Laris watches it, and she's like, "Yeah, no, she's in trouble. You should possibly go handle that." And Picard's like, "Aces, that's what I'm going to go do." So he heads.
First of all, why is
I love
Laris that like fuck you?
Who?
Because Laris is amazing. is the
Because-
I'm gonna lie, I love Laris as soon as she said that.
Yes, because
Yes.
after season 2, when he just like took off, like he just left. He didn't even say shit to her.
I'm not even sure she knew.
No.
Like, I don't think she knew. Like, because of the timey-wimey business.
What the time travel works is not like he was gone for like a long time. No, he came back at the exact moment he left.
I got it. Okay.
So
Let's go. With that.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So
with that.
Laris is like, "My darling, these are the lives we chose. Like, you should go do that." And he's like, "Aces." And so he dials up Riker and is like, "Hey, meet me in 10 Forward." So they go to Guinan's bar where everybody is getting ready for something called Frontier Day, which, by the way, never heard of. And I've watched a whole lot of Star Trek. But they're gearing up for Frontier Day, and Riker is sitting grumpily at the bar when the young bartender informs him that nobody wants the fat one, being the Enterprise D.
I
And he
did
gets
not know how
so
I
mad.
felt about that. I was so pissed when I
was
heard.
so mad.
I said, boy, I wish I was at that bar. I wish I was at that. They would have had to drag my
Also,
ass out.
Paramount, if you're not paying attention, you should be, because we will all buy those
We will
like
buy
right
the
now.
fat one. We will buy the fat
right
one.
now.
I have them. What are you talking about?
Not that, Jason. What? So.
So,
Frontier Day.
like Picard shows up and has this conversation. It's like, "So, like, I got this message from Beverly," and everybody's like,
That's
"Beverly,
so
we
cool.
haven't heard from her in 20 years."
Literally, since
Right?
Nemesis.
So Picard's like, "Yeah, so she sent me this thing, but I'm trying to figure out where these coordinates are." And Riker's like, "Oh, that's actually from a cipher / virus that was when you were incapacitated. So we just add a 3 everywhere, and we come up with the magic system." And he's like, "Oh, that's great. So now we need a ship." So they decide that they're going to hijack the Titan.
I got it. Nope, that's not it.
Nope, that's not it. So we
That's
go to
definitely
Space
not it.
Dock, which, by the way, is one of the sexiest designs I think that we've gotten out of Paramount. So we go to
Space Dock.
Yeah,
Yep.
so we go to Space Dock. They get onto the Titan. 7 happens to be the first officer. She welcomes them aboard, informs them that Captain Liam Shaw is going to will meet them for dinner. And they're like, "Hey, that's a little weird, but cool." So they meet him for dinner.
What's up with the lighting in his
Oh, I hated it.
dining room?
On the
Because
entire ship,
apparently-
though. The
Because
entire ship was dark.
apparently Picard is in the Snyderverse.
Okay,
And
right.
there's no light anywhere. Light is not a thing that exists.
Not from a top, like everywhere else. Not from a top. It's from
It's-
like
Or a bottom.
No light
Uh,
from a top.
no
I
light from a
mean,
top. No
or
light from a
bottom.
top.
Like, there's no overlay. I mean, there's just not enough light to survive.
Like any room you go in, there's light from a top. There's no light from the top. And
Like, you mean overhead lighting?
overhead lighting? Yes, at all.
We're real good at that by now. So anyway, he literally is like hanging out.
What's that noise? What's going on?
That's
Apparently-
Jermaine. That's Jermaine
Remains
crackling.
fine. So anyway, so he is eating his, I'm gonna say, seaweed loaf. Doesn't even stand up.
Mycelial.
Right. Doesn't even stand up when the superior officers walk in, and he's just literally hanging there doing his thing. And so they're like, okay, this is shitty, but we're gonna go through it. So Picard's like, hey, let's try to negotiate this. Here's what we want to do, or rather, Riker is like, here's what we want to do. Picard helps, but gets it wrong because apparently he's an old. And basically, Liam Shaw says, no, I don't believe anything you're saying. I'm not going to do it. And neither one of you can force me to do it. So I'm actually just going to straight up leave after having been a Titanic jerk and also racist.
Wait. Oh yeah, I was about to say.
Very
Yeah.
racist.
I'm getting there. I'm
Very
getting there.
racist.
Oh no. I got me some real Liam Shaw hate.
He put
Apparently he's
Pulaski
got
to
a-
shame.
He's got a problem with ex-Borg, y'all, to the extent that he is forcing Seven to go by Annika Hansen. And I gotta tell you, I'm not sure how she's doing answering to that. Because, I mean, how long has she been Seven versus how long she was Annika?
My question is, why do we not see more ex-Borg around?
That was season 1.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
season 1.
Hugh.
That was
And we
season
saw
1.
we saw a lot of X-Borg and Voyager too.
Yeah.
I'm saying that, like, now
We should have seen more.
we should
Yes.
see more.
I mean,
Fair.
because that captain is probably not the only racist piece of crap in Starfleet, and because
In the
they
Federation.
in the Federation. So you got to
In the
think about it. The only reason why Seven got as far as she did is because both Picard and Janeway got her to that point. They didn't necessarily buy her position, but a series of recommendations from iconic and historical captains and now admirals. Sure, Seven's going to get up there.
It helps to have friends in high places.
Galaxy saving admirals at that.
Galaxy saving, universe saving, time
Right,
quake
right.
saving, all that bullshit. Yeah,
Who
so
apparently Shaw considers reckless and irresponsible.
I'm trying to figure out like how.
I'm
'cause I
like-
think he literally they
Right.
took
Planned
the
and
scene.
unplanned.
They took the
Right.
scene between between Pulaski and Data and put so much adrenaline into it. Like,
Right. So let's
So I'm
table the
wondering-
Shaw hate for a minute and finish
okay,
the
yeah,
summary.
let's finish the
I'm,
recap.
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm wondering, like, does anybody else miss more of 7 of 9's character?
7 of 9 came out when she checked Picard, and I'm gonna let Marie get to that. Like,
Right.
But she's way more whoever she is now. I don't know if it's Annika Hansen. I don't know.
I think she's
I
being
just said-
forced.
I
She's
just
being
said-
forced into it.
I just said.
Anyway, so we're gonna table that too because I'm getting there. Promise. So
there's a moment.
So Annika, like 7 is just sitting there going, I hate my life. I hate everything about this. This is some bullshit. So she, like, after the admirals are escorted to the barracks, did anybody else notice that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So they're
was
escorted to the
horrible.
barracks. She wakes them up and comes in and is like, I need y'all to tell me what's going on. And they're like, but we don't want to get you in trouble. And she's like, y'all, I hate my life. So whatever you're doing, I want in. Roughly.
I mean that's the polite way to put it. Like,
Yes. I'm working on tact, guys. I'm working on
Right,
tact. It's
right.
a very long process.
absolutely. I've never seen 7 go off like that before.
Yeah. I mean, she's clearly not handling it. So anyway, she's like, all right, cool. I'm on board, sends them back to bed. And then, they wake up and the next thing they know, they're at the edge of Federation space, exactly where they were supposed to be, where Liam Shaw told them not to go. And then she looks at them and she says, in 4 minutes, the shuttle bay is going to be empty. See ya. So they go down and they board the shuttle. But before we get to that, we move to Raffi, who is in a hoodie, I'm going to say, / cloak, skulking around an entire planet's worth of, like, criminal district. She's buying drugs from an Orion. She talks about how she's out of Starfleet. Her girlfriend's left her. Like, the whole world is unhappy. And then she proceeds to press the Orion guy for information about somebody who stole what is essentially a giant portal gun from the Daystrom
Yeah.
Institute.
Portal gun or transporter of some sort?
It
Portal
was-
gun. Did you ever play Portal?
No, never.
So Portal had this gun where you would literally aim it at something and it would open up a hole and then another hole and you would jump through and come out the other.
Okay.
Kind of
So
like
portal
an
gun.
kind of like an Iconian doorway,
Yeah, but like
bigger.
smaller. I was actually gonna say, like you,
Oh.
like you would literally, like you would be able to see where the next portal was going to come out, which is effectively what happened.
Because it was a terrorist attack, right?
Yeah, but we're getting there.
Okay,
So
we're getting
Raffi is like pumping this guy for information. She offers him her entire life savings, which is interesting because like she's from the Federation. How did she have money? But sure, okay. Hand wave. She leaves this guy, calls Starfleet intelligence, and basically is like, Commander Raffi, I need a debrief
And more money.
and more money.
By the way, I think Worf is her captain, but I'm just.
It's entirely her handler. It's entirely possible. So she beams up to La Sirena. She's there for an indeterminate amount of time trying to figure out who this red lady is. And then eventually her handler contacts her and we have the world's most awkward debrief where she's basically like, I'm losing my mind. I'm not getting anywhere. I'm spinning my wheels. And also I'm surrounded by all kinds of addiction triggers.
Yes.
So if you could get me out of here, that would be legit aces. And her handler says, no, you're a warrior. You're fine. You will sort this out. Here you go. Find the red lady. So she's doing basically the 25th century equivalent of a Google search. And is like, all right, so Google red lady ship. No. Google red lady Romulan. Google red lady whatever. And then she gets the idea that maybe the red lady isn't a buyer, it's not a ship, it's not an actual individual. Could it be a target? So she's like, okay, where are the red ladies? Turns out there's a Starfleet outpost with it looked like a red Janeway.
But it was Rachel.
I thought it looked like B'Elanna to me.
I couldn't tell.
Maybe it was that hairstyle they just kept using over and over again.
Who knows? But it's a red lady in front of it. And she's like, oh shit, Frontier Day. So she, warps to the rescue. She gets to this location. She's trying to get in touch with somebody. Nothing is happening on comms. And then all of a sudden, the entire center, it looks like a conference center, drops.
It's basically a portal, drops through the portal.
Yep. And then comes out
empties out the portal, like not even 200 yards from where it started, and just drops it on whatever buildings in the city is happening.
So giant portal gun. It drops it on, and so like half of it goes here, and then it pops out over here, and like everybody in the center is dead. Now everybody next door is dead because it's all everywhere. So she's watching this and she kind of breaks down. Flash back to the edge of Federation space. Picard and Riker have determined that there's a life sign on board and it's identical to Crusher's. So they're like, all right, we're going to board. They get to the Helios. They board. They go in and they investigate. They discover, the ashes of the aliens Beverly killed. And they're like, well, this looks strange.
Odd.
Right. Right. Have you ever seen ashes like this?
Confusing.
Right. So Picard's like, I've had enough of this nonsense. I'm going to go check out the bridge because, that's where I belong. So he goes to the bridge and finds the world's most awkwardly placed cryopod.
On the bridge.
On the bridge against the major console because that's a life choice.
I guess that's where I would put it.
Right. And there is Beverly Crushy in cryostasis. Well, someone has gotten the drop on Riker, forces him into the bridge at gunpoint. Picard turns around and is like, we're here to help you. And this kid's like, hey, I'm not super sure about that.
I've got a British accent and I've got a gun.
Right, basically.
So I guess having a British accent is a genetic thing now.
We're not sure yet. So anyway, Riker, Picard just distracts Junior here. And Riker takes advantage, elbows him in the throat. He recovers nicely, but he still elbows him in the throat, grabs the gun.
And he still has the British accent.
I know, right? Recovers the gun, the phaser, and is like, all right, now who are you? And, the guy admits to being Dr. Crusher's son, and everybody's just like,
we knew it.
Right? And so the question now is like, who's the daddy? So now we have not Wesley, this answers Jason's question from earlier. Not Wesley basically explains that they've been on the run from an unnamed group of entities is what I'm going to go, because apparently one of the things they do is they change faces every time they encounter them.
I'll do that.
And well done. And they just keep basically forcing them away. And he's like, "You've led them right to us." And they're like, "What?
Oh!
What are you talking about? I need you to explain the Windows operating system to me." And then he's like, "Fine, let me open the windows." Opens the windows, and I'm sorry, like the Narada, sorry, not the Narada, but like a cheap version thereof, comes out and is basically, like threateningly standing in front of or like landing in front of the Helios. And that's where it cuts off.
So I'm looking at this ship.
Do they take pieces of other people's technology?
That's
Because
what
there was a
Romulans
part
do.
that looked like the part of the
I-
Federation.
I think
honestly,
it's a stolen Romulan ship.
I honestly don't know that we know yet. And I don't know that I'm seeing a real sort of like bug motif, because if you look at the original
Mhm.
ones that were actually attached to the Helios at the beginning of the episode, those kind of look like ticks. Anybody else see that?
I do have a problem with the shape of it because if you look at Starfleet vessels, the nacelles are specifically away from the hull of the ship because they don't want the warp bubble to interfere.
Which ship
Wait.
are we talking about?
General Federation design.
Okay.
They don't want the warp bubble to interfere with the people on the ship. So this ship has the people in the center, and then the nacelles around it. This is like a good thing for Keith to be on, right?
Right. That's presupposing those are nacelles. It's entirely possible that this is working off something like a bird of prey, where we have like a captive singularity running the ship. So we don't actually know what's going on with Creeper Vessel here.
And what's the species?
Unnamed. We don't know yet.
Ooh, exciting.
All we know
don't
is that they look like, all we
They-
know is they look like the Breen's uglier cousins.
I was finna say they look like the Breen from Wish.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Or
It's
open box at Best Buy.
And we also don't know what Hellbird is.
Yeah, we don't. But I'm
Nope.
sure that we'll as soon as they give us the answer, we'll be like, oh. But I gotta be honest, if I may. The number 3 thing, I didn't really
Are you ever
connect-
not?
Right. I didn't really connect that with the whole when he was assimilated by the Borg thing. I thought of the number 3 when the Enterprise was in the time loop and Data put number 3 in everything to let everyone know, hey, Riker's suggestion is the way to go.
3.
Right. And he put it in everywhere across the ship. So I thought that number 3 was that, but I don't know what they were doing. So it's like,
I gotta say, there were a lot of Easter eggs in this episode, which made for a lot of fun. Again, I really wish we had Keith for this.
yeah.
So, everything from like Jack Crusher's luggage to she's arbitrarily listening to old Borg like logs from Jean-Luc Picard to obviously all the things that were on Picard's desk.
I'm glad they didn't.
Well, I
there's
did
so
notice.
many.
I did notice how like they really did a tribute to the original Star Trek movie series, to the ship Enterprise then, but Titan now coming out and moving out. Sorry, everything's done by 10:3, right?
Mhm.
Movie, it's movie frame rate, movie resolution, but the way that they did it seemed like, and the music they had behind it made me really remember like Star Trek 5, Star Trek 6.
Star Trek First Contact, Star Trek. It's like I
Not First
heard.
Contact, but like Star Trek. When they first had when Star Trek 4, like when Kirk destroyed the Enterprise and then they brought it back. And Star Trek 5, when they saw it moving out, if you listen to the music, it's the same music that they had back then.
They use a lot of the same themes, and they pull also they sample a lot of the Next Generation theme, which was basically a riff off of the original series theme.
Yes.
which is great. Like, I have to say, I was really excited. I'm like, yay! The cats are looking at me like, why are you crazy, Mom? And I'm like, so many reasons. So many reasons.
So did would we say that this is like a modern TNG season now? Because I've seen, like, even with them bringing the credits back the way they
It's
did.
not TNG. It's not TNG.
I didn't say it was
It's
TNG.
like-
I never said
it's
that.
like-
I said
I really feel like it's Picard. It begins like the same sort of way that we've seen Picard begin every season, right? Like, I mean, we've got like the space, we've got the oldies. I mean, I guess would be ancient music by this point. We get
season 3. We noticed that Star Trek. I mean, Picard is shot so much differently than any other Star Trek series. Just like Stargate SGU is way different than any other Stargate, right?
Do y'all see what I'm saying?
That he's stuck.
Yeah.
Paused, or
Yep.
whatever?
Yep. I mean, but
Okay,
that's a great pause, though.
Okay. I almost screenshot that. Like,
You guys were paused.
Yeah, that's totally what happened.
Yeah, totally. Timescape, no problem.
Yep. So yeah, no, it has a very, very Picard feel. And did anybody else pick up on the whole line that he gives Laris, which is, I'm not a man that wants a legacy. I'm a man who wants another adventure.
Yes.
Which is probably why she was okay with saying, "Hey, you need to do this."
Like, yeah, go see your old girlfriend.
Mhm.
I'm wondering if, since
By
last season,
the way, please remember what you. It made me love her character. It absolutely made me love her character.
she's completely
So
chill.
secure in.
Yeah.
I feel like it needs to be like, fuck you.
Why? I need to hear it.
Because it's all about him
I was driving around town.
and
Okay.
his life and what he needs, what he
He
has
is
to do.
moving with her.
She's playing a
No.
supporting role.
No, but
She's playing a
she has
supporting role.
she has her own life.
She does, but in his life, she's playing a supporting role.
No,
A very supporting role.
This man is bigger than life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
bigger
and
than her.
and
Bigger
she's
than her.
200.
Been there, done that.
But I don't know. Like, I'm wondering if the move to Chautauqua 4 is meant to be a permanent thing. Like, I don't get that sense.
I'm thinking like final retirement years, like.
But anyway, I agree with Jermaine. I think she is acknowledging that you can't cage this man. You can't tell him no. You cannot go save this person who is so important to you. And I think it's an incredibly emotionally generous thing to be able to say, this is what you need to do. Go do it. I support you in it, and I'll be here when you get back. That's a lot of love, guys.
And that's love. That's love.
Mhm.
Which some ex-partners
I mean,
should probably
sometimes,
take
I mean, some couples need quality time together. Some couples like to have shiny gifts. Other couples apparently send their boyfriends across the galaxy.
I thought you were about to say invite others into the bed.
And this podcast took a turn. No.
I had so many opportunities in the last 30 seconds. I'm being a very good boy right now.
Pat. I've been completely derailed.
Jermaine, you broke Marie.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Party at whose house? Party at whose house? Please let us know.
Oh, I'm screaming. Margaret,
Oh my
what are you
God.
talking about? Can I ask a question? I want to ask a question. Oh God, where did it go? Oh God. Okay, anyway. Jermaine, give us your thoughts. Like, what were some scenes that surely stood out to you and like made you like embrace this episode and kind of does it give you hope for the remainder of season 3?
So, subplot is actually going to be around, at least in my mind, like number one, who is this? Who is this boy? Who's the father? How is he conceived? How is he conceived?
I do. Guys, I think this is going to, like, last season was all about getting this man a girlfriend. So I'm assuming that maybe
No,
this
no
season,
gerbils.
I feel like this season is going to be about getting him that legacy that he said he didn't
Mhm.
want.
As soon as he said that line, I was like, that's his son. That's his son. Because as much as disliked as my favorite movie of all time is, a lot of Generations
Is based,
is based in this final season.
which is why he better not die.
Right.
Okay, now who is the he that better not die? Because
His
I
son.
am
The
okay.
son.
Because I got to tell you,
Well, her son.
I am super comfortable with sacrificing Liam Shaw on the altar of Roddenberry.
Oh, he can die. I'm okay with
he
that.
can die. He can die. He can die. Like I want him to like. I don't know if he's supposed to be the comic relief of the show. Like, cause he's like so arrogant. He's stupid. I'm like,
All right, maybe I should disappear again.
sorry.
Family crisis. I had to.
So apparently Marco and Jermaine are sharing a brain.
I see that. Okay.
I think he got excited.
This is just all kinds of things tonight, huh?
But
So
I really think that that's going to be a little bit of what's going on is we're just we're just going back and trying to give Picard this family life that he never had, sort of concluding that arc that we've been seeing in the character since 1987.
Yeah.
Well, you know what the top rumor about it is?
What?
That this retcons the missing season for Crusher. Why she was gone in season 2.
So she just she just left her
So
son?
she did what?
No, because it was season 7 when she found out how Picard felt about her.
Yeah,
Mm.
like no. This is a mama who was willing to go full mama bear on her captain for being ugly to her son when he came on the bridge. So I don't see her leaving him.
I would like to take that theory. I would like to take that theory and slightly modify it to where the result is still the same. She went to Starfleet Medical and became head of Starfleet Medical in season 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
She actually did the same thing in Nemesis in a deleted scene.
Okay.
Right.
We don't know how long she was there, and I'm guessing this is after the events of. Well, we don't know if she was pregnant during the Shinzan Shindig or whatever. We just knew that she was gone. Okay, and since she was at Starfleet Medical again, you could take that theory and just move it up, 10, 15 years and go to Nemesis and I'm sorry, Marie, and put it there because that's the point where she disappeared.
I gotta tell you, as someone who has been pregnant, I could not have done even first trimester all the shit that she does in Nemesis.
First of all, has anybody else here been pregnant before she continues?
It depends on what you mean by pregnant, because there are certain ways that you have to explain like what that is, because it's 2023 now, and for some of us we go through the same means but maybe not the same result.
We are not going there. We are not going there, William. We are not going there, William. We are not going there, William. We are not. We have a woman who has been pregnant, and we will stop at that. Whatever you have to say.
Wait, no!
I don't even.
I was scared.
We're gonna move on. Whatever that was.
Like,
you know what?
We're not going there. We're not going there.
Oh my god!
I gotta tell you, Marco, it's been a long time since we were all together, and apparently we are up to shenanigans.
Okay.
It's like you put us all in timeout.
The fact that Marie did not give birth to Geordie LaForge is not her fault entirely.
What the hell does that? What? I mean,
it's the same thing. What the hell the fuck does it have to do with what you just said?
I really don't know why I came back.
Anyway,
what happened?
I don't buy the idea that she got pregnant and then just decided not to do anything with it and have the baby and then chuck the baby somewhere.
Well, first, let's ask this
People
question.
do chuck babies.
About
Somewhere where he learned to speak with a British accent.
About how
Yeah.
old do we think he is? Because
Oh, he's
he's
definitely
about
is.
20,
It's
late
35
20s,
years old.
early 30s.
Okay, how old's
He's
the
my
actor?
age. He's my age.
35 years old.
Right, and I saw the makeup on his face. He looked a little bit young, so he's got to be, 20s. We're talking mid-20s here.
Well, remember, we have jumped ahead. Last season, it was
Is he Picard?
It was 2 years ago, right?
Last season was 2400.
Mhm.
Now it's 2405 thereabout. Because Liam Shaw mentioned how the Titan has been out. He's been captive Titan for 5 years.
36 missions, and you don't. Sorry.
Yeah.
By
Hate
the
that
way,
man.
only
So there-
36 missions? Like,
I'm like,
5
come on,
years. Yeah. that's-
Sulu did more than
Seriously,
that.
this man is going to become the most hated captain since Jellicoe.
Wait,
I'm so serious.
wait. Can we talk about the elephant in the room? Is this Picard's child?
Right.
Well, there's one detail that was in some of the reviews that was not in this episode, which is his name,
What's his name?
Jack.
His name is irrelevant.
oh, no. That
No,
name is relevant.
no. Jack
That name
Crusher.
is relevant.
That Jack Crusher.
Yep.
And that was one of the big things, right? Like we actually have that establishing shot that goes over Jack Crusher's
Which is
luggage.
why I asked how did he come about? Because I'm
Jack has been
thinking,
dead for years.
So
I'm
I
thinking
mean,
artificial insemination or what
this is getting
whatever
real
we
weird.
call it in the future.
It's getting real weird. Even if he's Jack's kid, though, I mean, that doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily say that we're not going to end up with this thematic father-son relationship between like Junior and Picard.
Mhm.
Because that's happened. Obviously, that happened with Wesley. Somewhere, I really want to
And-
know
and in
where
season
Will
2.
Wheaton is on this.
I want to
And
know
in
what
season 2.
Mm-hmm. That's
Well,
true.
he is hosting the after show, the Ready Room. So I didn't see that before I came on.
I want to see him interact with his brother, apparently.
Wait. So just to sum up, All Good Things, the last episode of TNG, right?
Yeah.
Picard and Crusher were married in his later life,
Mhm.
but
Yeah, an alternate timeline that now did not happen.
An alternate
it
timeline.
didn't happen, right? It
Right.
ended in his present life.
And in
Yeah.
B-Canon, they stayed married.
The three timelines of All Good Things were 2363, the first mission of the Enterprise D, 2370, and 2395.
Mhm.
We are now in the year 2405 or so.
Okay.
Except for the fact that we magically still have Geordie's daughters having the same name, same names.
How's that magic?
Well,
I find it interesting that despite the fact that like they were I mean, he had kids with these names in the alternate timeline, and now we do.
Some things hold true. And
Some
That's her name,
of them.
All Good
some of
Things?
them.
Yeah, they had like if you actually pull up the entry for Sidney LaForge, you'll actually see a reference to All Good Things.
Interesting.
And then
Hold on.
there's Sydney and Alondra. And Alondra is
Yeah.
actually by Micah Burton.
Right.
right.
And Sydney is Chelsea Sharp Chestnut, maybe?
I really do think that they should do a thing with Naomi Wildman.
They
Wow,
probably
when-
will because they said they're going to incorporate Voyager and DS9 into this.
They really
Interesting.
should. They really
I'm
should.
excited about that.
I want to see how they're going to do it.
There's very few characters that we have that we've known them since they were children. So that's
Yeah,
a
it's
great-
like Jake Sisko and Naomi Wildman.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
get Jake, Wesley, Naomi, and
Well, Jake
you can
Sisko-
hold Jake.
Jake
Sorry, I had to
Sisko
step
is
away
not
for a second. I
Starfleet
didn't want to
at all.
accidentally moon the camera again without knowing it to grab
No.
my novelization of All Good Things.
oh, he wouldn't
Well,
let us see.
I
he wouldn't
really
let us-
wanted to see it.
Yeah,
Y'all, this is turning into an interesting evening.
we need to have.
I wanted to see it.
We need to have an apple bottom jeans competition between Keith and Marie.
Marie's gonna win. Just say it.
I mean,
I will have to note during the premiere, you had Will Wheaton did tweet out that he got to meet Sirach Lofton
for the first
For
time.
the first time?
for
the first time.
Are
Is
you
that
serious?
weird to anybody else? Like that blew my
Yeah.
mind.
Very weird.
By the way, did anyone else?
I am not. I'm not going to sit here and talk about Marie's ass I think about it all day
I've already
already.
moved on,
So
man. Come on. Dude. We
The
moved
part where he
on.
said he thinks about it all day anyway.
right.
I'm done. So
about it all
Keith
day
actually had a Star Trek related, not ass related comment. I hope.
Yes. By the way, did anyone else read Will Wheaton's blog post about the feeling part of the family again?
No.
You
So
know,
at-
so yeah, please continue.
So at the premiere, at one point they asked the cast to stand up, and everyone stood up except Will because
Right.
he's not in Picard season 3. And Jonathan Frakes looked aside and said, "Will, get your ass up! And like basically pulled him up, and people started cheering for him as well. And he said it was a real touching moment. Then in the after party, Jonathan came up to him and said, "Why didn't you stand up with us?" And he said, "Well, I'm not in the show this season." He goes, "You're our family. You're part of this family. You stand up." And so he wrote this beautiful blog entry and put on Facebook about how in that moment, Jonathan Frakes was the dad I always wished I had.
Wow.
And we already know that he had some very touching moments with Sir Patrick Stewart back in those days, but it was just the emotions that was going through him that day.
Damn.
So good dad Riker.
Yep.
I mean, Riker is a cool dad. I just want to know what the hell is going on between.
Did
him
anybody
and
else
Deanna.
really enjoy how he just embarrassed Sydney like completely?
Yeah.
Like that was very much like your geriatric uncle.
Honestly, what I like about this Riker is this is the same Riker we saw in Lower Decks.
Yes. When he started talking about Crash, he sounded just like Lower Decks Riker.
Sound just like him.
Like Next Generation Riker.
Right. Next Generation is very
well, he's getting a little older, so he has some license. Some
and I think him being with Deanna kind of helped too, because it's just like in TNG, he was so focused on his career that he deliberately pushed his relationship aside. But then when he like loosened up and let go and then got a damn shit for himself, then he became cool and chill and now he's like talking about
Rick Berman's
Risa and stuff.
I mean, everything is Rick Berman's fault. That's just kind of a thing.
But William, I really loved what you said, William. You were like, you wanted to know like what happened between he and Deanna.
Because to me, and this may sound Trek cliche, but they're my favorite Trek couple. Like they're my couple. Like it's just like, what's wrong? What's wrong?
I was reading a little bit of desperation off Riker for this. Like Riker, I'm getting this feeling that Riker was a little frustrated. It felt a little stagnant or something.
Okay.
And wanted to go do something exciting and new other than being an old fart giving a speech on Frontier Day. And so I think that's one of the reasons he's so willing to jump in with Jean-Luc. And I wonder if in his own home life, they got a little frustrated with this constant need for adventure, stimulation, whatever. Because, I mean, as far as we know, even though we know Marina Sirtis is coming back later in the season, we know that, like, they've been settled on Nepenthe now for...
I don't know how many years. Even after Thad passed away.
A hot minute is what I'm going to say.
By the way, from the novelization, Chapter 3, he had a son, Brett, and two daughters, Alondra and Sydney. Sorry.
Okay, Alondra, you're talking about Geordi, right?
Yes. Yeah. And the daughters that he has in Star Trek Picard are Alondra and Sydney. Alondra being Micah Burton, and Sydney being Chelsea Chestnut.
Okay.
Ashley Sharp Chestnut.
Thank you. My memory, like, for names is awful. Just awful. So no offense to her. I thought she handled that scene really, really well.
Yes.
I won't lie to you. As I was watching, I know it's called The Next Generation, but as I was watching this, all I could think about was the intro scene in Generations. Like it's because it was like giving while I was looking at her just giving this big goofy grin, I was just thinking about Sulu's daughter.
Damar.
Yeah,
Gamora,
right. In that moment, because it's just like, if you think about it, even though Kirk low-key didn't really want to be there, and he was just, whatever. They were on like a routine inspection too at the launch of
The
the
Enterprise.
Enterprise B. And we just learned that the
And also Captain Cameron, I don't remember his actual name, but he's Cameron from Ferris Bueller.
Harriman, John Harriman.
John Harriman.
Regardless, Captain Cameron was also terrible.
Also, but he was terrible, but he wasn't like a dick,
Well, and Rick Berman's explanation as to why he was horrible is even worse when you think about it.
Oh,
What was the explanation?
Tried to say that Harriman's family bought him the captaincy of the Enterprise B.
Wait.
Which doesn't make any damn sense.
That doesn't sound. Look, I'm sorry. I'm going off of the John Harriman I saw in Gods of Men. Like,
okay.
Because that's not the only in-depth thing that I've gotten on the man. It's like,
Right.
If y'all have seen that, but by the way, but yeah, it's giving early first scene of Generations, and I'm just like, oh, okay, and then all hell breaks loose and stuff like that. And I'm like, I can't help it. It's my favorite.
I'm sorry,
movie.
Berman makes me drink.
That's fair.
Oh, never mind.
But also, I like the idea of the Next Generation being a reference to not Wesley.
Yeah.
As well.
Okay.
So I'm kind of wondering, like, again, going back to this whole conversation about, like, is this, since again we got him a girlfriend last season, are we getting him a son this season?
I just want.
That's a nice, quick family.
Yeah.
I know.
It just gives Sulu vibes. It's just like, when did he find time for a family? Oh, it's like I was always say, if someone's important, you make the time. So that's why you seem so restless. Finding retirement a little lonely, are we? You know what? I like it when you're an engineer, but with a tech like that, you make a lousy psychiatrist.
I'm kind of wondering, like, how many different personalities of William we're going to get tonight.
That was Kirk and
I know.
Scotty.
I know. And those lines.
Well, as of yesterday, you now have 29.
That's true. Happy birthday, William.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Are we supposed to sing now?
Yes.
That would be you. I can't carry a tune, as we have already heard.
Neither can I, which is why
No.
you all were singing, and
Jermaine, I heard you hum before. I know you can sing.
Oh no, I cannot.
Someone's gonna sing to him.
I can't.
Okay,
Good Lord, please do.
Oh God. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear William. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
And the worst part is this is now on the internet, so everybody's gonna hear it.
Yeah. Okay, Keith, can you give us all of our Easter eggs?
Well, there was actually a YouTube video that's already up that spotted 91 Easter eggs in this episode.
Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, there are probably like 40 on the man's desk alone.
Well, did anybody read the fake script for the pilot episode of Picard that came out all those years ago?
A fake one.
Keith, honey, I love you, but I love that you assume that I have time to read fake scripts.
Okay, well, someone wrote to try to bash Kurtzman, wrote a fake script for what they thought the pilot episode of Picard was going to be, way back, just within a month after they announced that Picard was even a thing. And there were people that were still referring to it as a leaked script right up until the episode actually came out. But it started with panning across a room in a starship, and it's definitely Picard's desk because it's got this thing from this episode, and this thing from this episode, and this thing from this episode, and this thing from this episode. That's essentially what we got with Beverly's quarters there on the LES.
Oh, okay.
Because you got the tragedy and comedy plaque, you got awards that she's won. She's got her tulips from, remember that she had dabbled in botany on the Enterprise D.
There are literally no tulips there.
Or not tulips.
They're orchids. They're Phalaenopsis orchids.
Orchids, sorry. Yeah, when I first saw them, I was like, oh, please, not more orchids from season 1. Yeah.
The world needs more orchids, always.
No, just the fact that what was it? Was it? Yeah, there was an orchid named after Soji.
I mean, fair enough. Like, okay, so dirty
Okay.
confession. I literally have a grow cabinet in my bedroom, and my kids refer to it as mommy's special cabinet that makes things grow. And so inevitably I have to call in schools and be like, they're orchids, not weed. Orchids.
Oh God. Oh God. I would pay to see a conversation between the captain and Marco. I wanted Marco to sit at that dinner table.
Honest to God, my money's on Marco. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I gotta say, I think Todd Stashwick did a really great job
Yes.
with that. And bless his heart, like that man is apparently just always a villain in Star Trek, because if you remember, he was a Romulan in Enterprise.
I feel like he was a Borg at some point.
You go back and watch a lot of the stuff he's done. He does a lot of asshole villain kind of roles. Like,
have you seen his
Does a
eyes?
good job with it.
like he even was on Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip as an asshole reporter for Time magazine.
So this man has made a cottage career out of being an asshole.
Yeah.
He's definitely an asshole. He looks like I'm not gonna say that. That's very inappropriate. He just looks bad.
Now you're drawing a line? Now?
This is the moment of my self-preservation.
Okay, let me try to get to the Easter eggs, realizing I didn't hear everything. I know that the stuff that you probably brought up that I didn't hear while I was dealing with my.
Also, I think Picard was using a pilot fountain pen, by the way.
Yeah, I'd say so. It looked like it.
I'm glad we saw the flute. We saw the flute.
We saw the flute.
We saw the flute. We saw the wall hanging thing on his chair.
He had a Bajoran
symbol,
like plaque thing on his desk. The current Niskos, the thing from the Chase that had all the little things inside, which he chucked to the side in Generations. You know, when they were going.
He had a fossilized ammonite that I think is the same one that we saw in the Ready Room for however many thousands of years.
Yeah.
Cool.
But
I remember being really, really jealous because those are expensive.
And we saw references.
I think
what looked like the post credits. I think what we saw as the end credits is actually what the credits will be at the front of episodes going forward, like they did with Prodigy, where they started with just a title card and then you had the credits at the end. And it is confirmed that they are using First Contact music for most of the stuff of the season. Jeff Russo has been let go as the conductor of the music.
Okay, okay, good. No new shit.
Yeah, supervising composer. It's now Stephen Martin instead of Jeff Russo. So all the music that you remember from the past 2 seasons of Picard is thrown out, and they're only using stuff.
Oh, thank God, because I didn't like none of that music. I didn't like the intro credit. I didn't like the outro. I didn't like the in between. I'm just. But
they did reference the Federation, the Fleet Museum, which we found out he mentioned that LaForge is in charge of, and in that credit scene, you saw the Fleet Museum where they talked about some of the ships that are kept at the Fleet Museum, such as the Voyager and the Enterprise original.
They kept the Constitution class?
Which
I mean, the Enterprise A.
It would have been the Enterprise A.
Yeah, it would have had to have been.
Yeah. But it was listed on the readout as just NCC 1701. And it looked like the dimensions of the original Matt Jeffries designed Enterprise.
I hope we stop by and get to see it. By the way, give me about 10 years. I'm going to build the Enterprise on some plot of land. Even though I legally can't monetize off of it, I'm just going to build it just so I can say I did it.
I think we need to get this man some Minecraft.
Yeah.
I did that already. I'm talking about the real thing.
Or a boyfriend.
I'm over that right now.
Okay.
I just want that birthday good, and I'm straight. I'm sorry, I'm not straight. So anyway, I'm just saying. Okay, we're at 1 minute. Let's go over our favorite scene and what we would rate this, and let's go home.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Do we have?
I already gave you mine. maybe
you
about
didn't give me a
30
rating.
minutes ago.
I need a rating.
I would give this maybe 7.
A 7. Decent. Average start. All right, Marie.
Ooh, that's hard. Like it's either between when basically the mysterious handler tells Rafi that she's a warrior, and then there's this moment of realization that we see Michelle Hurd give. It's wordless, it's just physical, and it's amazing. To like Grandpa Riker embarrassing, baby LaForge on the bridge, just because I've been there. Not on the grandpa end, but on the embarrassed end. To also, I agree with Jermaine. I think that sequence with Laris was beautiful. Also, can we talk about like whatever dark gods Gates McFadden is sacrificing to? Like, I need that list so that I can start making those sacrifices so that I can age that well. But like, she was rocking that BFG.
Definitely. And she said that that one of the reasons she came back was because they let her carry around a gun for once, and she put it up as her Twitter profile pic as soon as it came out.
Yep. So as far as a rating, I mean, I really enjoyed this. So I think I actually gave it like 4 cups of Earl Grey tea on Game Industry News.
Nice.
4 cups.
I mean, I have reservations. I have reservations about this concept of like shoehorning in a son for Jean-Luc, if that's in fact what's going to happen. There are a couple of other hand wavy things that I'm just kind of like, those are choices, but okay. This has been fun. I'm willing to give you the rope to hang yourselves with.
All right, Keith.
Well, by the way, so I missed the discussion. Did you guys say who you guessed the mysterious handler is?
Our money's on Worf.
Yeah, it's Captain Worf.
It's Worf. I because I made the assumption earlier that I think that Worf is her captain.
Yeah.
I mean, the warrior thing. Come on.
Well, the fact that when the translation came in, it was in Klingon.
That's what I zeroed in on.
I didn't notice the Klingon. I didn't
either initially. On the second watch, I did, because I pulled a card out of like Keith's catalog multiple times.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely got the. Plus, it was terse in the way Worf is terse. So, I'd say my favorite thing was when you had the starship porn of first going in and seeing the Titan A in space dock, and then them leaving, and just that whole recreating those scenes almost from Star Trek 3 and from slightly to a degree Star Trek 5 and 6.
Yep.
So. But
Space Dock, I think, remains one of like Paramount's or like Star Trek's sexiest designs.
And I like that they've expanded Space Dock, adding those extra wings on it.
They added to it.
But it still feels very much like it's been organically generated, right? Like, I mean, it does not fight with the original design.
Right. It adds to it. I love it. I would say
Did you give a score, Keith?
Oh yeah, what was your score?
Out of 5 or out of 10?
Either.
I'll give it a 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10.
Okay, I'm gonna pray to Cthulhu and everyone else that we keep this up for the rest of season 3, because I don't want to fight on anyone.
Yeah, Cthulhu Fatagan. Yeah.
I don't want to fight anyone on this. I fought everyone on season 1 and 2 and Generations. I don't feel like fighting.
Generations is fine. Season 1 was rocky, but okay. Season 2, no.
I gotta tell you, I loved Generations when I first saw it. Then subsequent airings was when I started to see the flaws more and more.
Right. I would say that me personally is I loved the confrontation between Seven and Jean-Luc.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it because if you think about it, Picard is like almost like a father to her in 2 different ways. One in a Starfleet way and another in an ex-Borg way.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of makes me wish they hadn't named the show Star Trek Picard. Like, it should have been Star Trek Legacy from the beginning.
Oh,
that would have been awesome.
Legacy. Yeah, because then it would have been an incredible spin-offs of different stuff. But hey, but
well, maybe that's what we can do with the Seven and Raffi show.
Well, they said that depending on how season 3 is received will determine the spinoffs from, and we're going to see, if this goes well, we may not see Jean-Luc again, but we will see other TNG characters again in different cameos across future Trek shows and movies.
Yeah, and Terry Matalas even said that he wished that he could have renamed the show Star Trek Legacy, at least for this season.
I mean, hey, but it's like, and then
what was that captain's name again?
Liam Shaw?
Dick face.
No. Of the ship that Raffi is now flying.
Rios?
She's on Lost
Rios.
Yeah, Rios. He gone.
Give me Rios.
Yes.
Give me Rios.
Yes. Cheers. Santiago Cabrera was definitely a pleasant view on my screen.
He was like, for lack of a better phrase, he was like a sexy Spanish Riker.
Yep, give it to me.
And I ain't gonna lie, and I thought I was bad. Oh my goodness, I gotta remember, I'm not the alpha here. He said, Jermaine is just like, you gotta understand, I'm letting you say all this stuff. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. I got so many tricks.
Jermaine's like, I take no responsibility for this. I got so coming out of your mouth.
Tricks. I got things in this closet that will make your spine shiver, your Klingon spine shiver, because I know you got 2 of them.
No, they only have 1 spine. It's other things they have 2 of.
Oh my God! I don't even want to.
Yeah, this is where we're going.
Okay. Rating.
This is where we're going. And that means I have real questions.
I was so ready to go there too.
Rating.
Except now I kind of want to know, what Jadzia was rocking at this point.
Well, it explains a lot about when you saw them at that for the first time.
If you really think about it, if he has
body hurt.
Anyway, I can't really say it. It's YouTube. Okay, I give it an 8. It's just, if you think about it, if you really think about it, it just adds to her sexual fluidity. It just, because
I have to put this show on the magazine, guys. Calm down.
Okay. Anyway, I give it an 8. Not Jadzia and Worf's sex life. That's a 10 out of 10. I give this episode. Oh God, I'm terrible. You know what? I'm out.
Oh my God! At this point, I feel like we need beautiful bean footage to just save us from ourselves.
Yes, please stop it now.
He's like, I was.
I'm just kidding. Anyway, I give it an 8 because I really loved it. It was awesome. And I got to get the last word in because I'm the belated birthday boy. And right now, these last 30 seconds are about me. So, I loved it. It was awesome. It was great. And I just...
Do not encourage him, Marco.
Yeah, but it was just those moments for me. So I hope and I pray that the next 9 episodes will be equally as awesome. You know why? Because I have faith of the heart.
I'm dying here. I'm dying.
Thank you. And another thing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not going to ever say it on the internet. Yeah, never. Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. Wait. There was a shadow of a church.
Okay. What?
William has questionable ideas about what he puts. William has
that.
questionable ideas about what he puts on the internet.
Oh, I remember that episode.
Uh-huh.
I remember that episode. Yeah.
There you go.
Wait, what? Wait.
We put on an audio version of this podcast.
Oh.
We're still live.